Life throws all sorts of things our way, and sometimes we just need a minute. So sit back, relax, and take a moment with me. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Take a Moment with me, Laken Carter. I am so excited that you're back for another one, or if this is your first episode, welcome to the podcast. I have a couple episodes where I introduce a little bit more of where this podcast started, the idea behind it, all of that good stuff, so you can give a listen to the intro or the previous episode for more of that. But for today's episode, we're just going to dive right into that intention. We'll start off with centering ourselves in our breath. So whatever you're doing, whether you're driving or lying down, resting, or about to start a workout, or just needed to take that moment, I want you to take a really conscious, deep inhalation up through the nose, drawing the air into the lungs, filling up that belly, and then slowly exhaling it back out into the room. Take 2 more of these conscious breaths, focusing on the inhale and exhale, and trying to match the length of inhale to the length of exhale. Being a boss is 0% about having money, power, or control over other people, and 100% about having power and control over yourself. The age of powerful female bosses is here, in theory anyways, but that's another intention for another time. Any female clothing store you go into, you will find a power suit. And young girls have so many beautiful examples of women in power. But sometimes I think we get confused and mixed up as to what makes these boss women or men so boss. Because often we see publicity, we see money, we see fame and power as the trademarks of greatness. But that isn't the case. See, to attain money, power, and control over other people is pretty easy and simplistic. Don't get me wrong, it sometimes takes years of hard work, but it can also boil down to knowing the right people, or being in the right place at the right time. The hardest work comes with having power and control over yourself. When you don't want to show up, but you do it anyways. When you keep getting knocked over, but also keep picking yourself up again. When you remove yourself from places and relationships you know deep down are only hurting you. When you say no or yes when the opposite answer is expected of you. So while we celebrate the famous women and men who have worked hard and are leading examples, let's also celebrate the other bosses. The women who maybe don't run multi-million-dollar corporations, but who know themselves, who push themselves, who grow themselves and love themselves. The undercover bosses. The bosses who usually mean the most to the people around them. Being a boss is 0% about having money, power, or control over other people, and 100% about having power and control over yourself. How can you show up as a boss in your own life this week? By hugging and loving yourself more. By finally saying no to someone or something. By doing a task you hate but know needs to get done. by showing up as the truest version of you. You are all bosses. And I guarantee someone in your life already knows that and respects you for it. It's time to give yourself a promotion. Continue taking a few more conscious breaths, letting your mind not go forward in time thinking about to-do lists, thinking about tomorrow, thinking about 5 minutes from now, but allowing yourself to remain in the present, guided by the inhalations and exhalations. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Take a Moment, and I will see you next week for another episode. Bye, guys.